What is going on, everybody? In this video, we're providing you a state of the market and stock picks for May 19th, 2022. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, consider subscribing, as I do provide daily and weekly updates to get you prepared for the day and a week ahead in this crazy market. And yes, even though it sounds like I'm energetic right now, I am not doing so hot. So I'm trying to keep this video pretty short because I don't want to start coughing in your ear. So nonetheless, the SPY, why did it sell? This is something I've been talking about for the past couple of days. Might even be about a week and a half, possibly even 2 weeks, about retesting that 20 EMA monthly. We've been trying to get there, and overnight pre-market we hit it, and then we started selling pre-markets, going straight into open, and it just didn't stop from there. Now, one thing to consider here, what is also going on, not only technical wise, were we at that level of getting rejected, having a harsh rejection off that 20? Because again, first attempts, you'll get a very hard rejection before you can break it. So being said, we also had Target earnings. So if you haven't known, Walmart and Target have been doing very bad. They've taken huge price gouges from inflation. So being said, that played into the tune of what happened today, and we got a massive sell-off going into today. Now, being said, this is the point where I've been talking about. This is essentially the do or die point. Either we're going to make a higher low tomorrow and start pushing up, or we're going to flush. Now we go back down to this lower level, the 38.59 tomorrow. What could be a strong possibility. We do not want to break this. We break this, we going for a lower low here, which is fine. We got very solid support here. Normally, this is really good reversal area with a 20 EMA weekly and the 50 EMA monthly. Again, they rarely hit these, and when they do reverse. Again, the market sentiment was very bad because of the fact that it's been banks and value that have been pulling us along when tech has been struggling. Now, those safe haven value stocks are getting obliterated, and we're seeing that in earnings and what inflation is doing. Now, this is concerning because that is what's been holding us up since tech hasn't been tech this year because of the normalization of inflation and rate raises. Tech has been suffering. And so to combat that, people have been buying into value stocks. They've been buying into energy. They've been buying into, again, Walmart, your Targets, your BAs. They've been buying all these particular stocks. And today, you saw massive liquidation of that because the second earnings with Target. And so now the next biggest thing is now you got Costco on the board coming in next Thursday. Are they going to essentially report the same thing? So your value stocks are no longer safe either. That could be concerning because that's what's essentially kind of kept us afloat over the past couple months. Even with tech selling off, the banks and value have been holding up the index. But now tech struggling because of the current market sentiment, we have to see if we're going to flush down even more. So depending on how we do open overnight is really going to matter. If we stay flat here, this would be a perfect higher low. This is what I've been saying. If we can hold that 3,900, which we came very close to it today, if we can hold that and bounce back, we could be okay. Again, that second retest, there's a lot of resistance here. You do have the 20 EMA and the 20 monthly on there. So you have the daily and the monthly sitting right here. So it's going to take a lot of momentum to break through this. Again, it could be also overnight digestion with Powell and everything coming into today, which I said if we ended up flat that we would sell off pretty heavy as well. There was a lot of things that came into play and that lined up perfectly with the technicals. So this is the turning point. If we stay flat, I could see us trying to pump back up tomorrow, that 41.16. If not, if we could possibly even just gap down. Could be a strong possibility, especially with the news about value, and that is now no longer a safe haven. So where do you put your money when tech is struggling and value is struggling? is a very good question. And if people start throwing their money back in bonds, that's typically the inverse of the market. So the bonds go up and the market comes down. So we're definitely going to have to watch and see what is going on with this current situation. Excuse me. Again, still coughing. So just work with me here. But nonetheless, I think, again, very big turning point here. If we continue to sell, we're going to retest this 38.55. We could potentially play this range. Could be a strong possibility. Something I said, if we did dip here and hold, we could play this range and then possibly get a pop out of here. If you look on the daily, we're still on this downward trend, the short-term downward trend. There is also a bigger downward trend. But if we can hold this, we could try to pump back up to 40.50, and then again attempt to try to break it. Again, we're going to need some positive news to do that. Again, there was just too much negative news to really do anything today. And again, technicals proved essentially that point. You had the trend, you had the EMAs. It was perfect setup for a short, and that's exactly what I did this morning, playing SPX puts this morning. So that being said, that's the general index. We have to see how that opens. Bitcoin, again, still holding. It's floating again around that 28. Again, it really just depends on the market. This thing is correlated with the market at this point. Everything is pretty much correlated with the market. And when there's fear, everything looks the same. So Bitcoin is no different than that. So again, there's still a lot of positive things about crypto. There was a news article about Spotify as well, trying to get NFTs onto their platform as well for artists. So there's more positive crypto stance for the underlying payment system implementation of crypto and the technology in itself. Crypto as a whole, the market, again, in general, I think is obviously we have to go to Tesla, because Tesla's, again, growing with the industry leaders with the current market state. Tesla, again, big one. There's a lot of negative news today about Tesla, and I guess it lost some index rating. I think it involved safety or something like that. Nonetheless, Elon got on the horn and started complaining about it. That could be a negative sentiment. Tesla should not be breaking 695 tomorrow. If it does, again, I think this thing can really start selling down that 50 is what I'm looking at for tech. I think tech can definitely implode here. Everything is just hanging on by a thread. With that news today with value, I think that gives a little bit more feel to the downside. And that's something to keep in mind, is that with the value not being what people thought it would be, especially with inflation and getting essentially price gouged, it's definitely going to take a lot of momentum to the upside and remove that, and could potentially provide more fuel, another strong push leg down before this thing reverses. So that's something to keep in mind. And if this does reverse, or this does push down again, you have to be aware that tech is definitely going to take a huge hit on that first. So definitely keep an eye on that. Apple, huge dump today. It's not even retesting these levels. Something I keep saying, when you got your industry leaders and they're not even retesting levels, that means there's just way too many sellers in the market right now, and nobody's buying. Now Apple's holding this 140 mark, but we have to see if it does hold and start pushing up. Again, that could be a positive sentiment. They may start chopping. Could be a strong possibility. Again, we have to see where we open and how we end the day tomorrow. Again, there's no real other information coming into the next couple of days that are really going to do anything in the markets. Again, I think we got Beige Book next week that could potentially move the market a little bit more, but we'll have to see how that plays out. Then, of course, you got to Google. Google was looking good, but now it's starting to break levels. Again, you don't want it to break that 22.13 mark. If it does break that, you're going to have quite the fall there as well. Then you're going to start looking at psychological levels at that point. So all your round numbers headed down from 2,200. So you're looking at your 2175, 2150s. Look at those 25-point increments for Google on the way down. Amazon absolutely wrecked today. Again, it's so weak, it's not even retesting. that is telling you the strength in the market. And this is what I talk about reading price action, is when your stock bounces, it can't even retest levels. You can see that pretty easily. So it'd be interesting to see what happens going forward here. Some values that may be possible shorts tomorrow could be Abivi. It looks like it's finally breaking the trend here. So depending if it could break the 152 mark, could potentially get down to the 140 mark tomorrow. So Abivi might be a good one. I think a lot of the value plays to the downside might be good. AMD had a really nice pump. You want to see if it holds the 93 mark or the 94 mark. If it can't hold the 94 mark tomorrow, this thing could potentially go all the way back down to 85. So you do want to watch that. Chips have been strong. So you definitely don't want to get caught in that. But the biggest thing is to watch the banks. The banks have kind of broken out to that small downward descending wedge and retesting. Could get a nice pop tomorrow. So we're really kind of watching that, but really trying to see what we do get. Again, I do apologize for my voice. I definitely come down with something. So trying my best here. I'll try my best to edit this video as well, so you're not hearing me coughing. But nonetheless, if you made it this far, go ahead and like the video and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And again, big thing is tomorrow is to watch market sentiment, see what's going on, see where we're landing, and take it from that point. Again, it could reverse, it could go another leg down, but we shall see.